Yeah, looked it up. Me and you have not cast it G2 in over a year, and I find that absurd because I feel as though we've always been in and around them, but we just haven't been able to cast them. It's a bit weird.
Does that make you feel a certain way? Because I know you're a big G2 fan. Like, have you been shaking in the days leading up to this, knowing that you were finally going to get to cast your beloved G2 again?
Not really. I was more excited to cast Nico, I'll be honest. That's who I was really looking forward to see play. But that dream's over, so I guess we'll settle for G2. Who, you know, obviously this is me coming from, you know, enjoying the team that is G2. They haven't been up the standard where they should be. They see them down here, it's just... It shouldn't be like this. They should be just going straight into the major. They shouldn't be having to go through all these qualifiers, and not even, you know, down here in the qualifiers like what we see from ITB and Wild. You know, G2 didn't even make it top 3 in their group. That's how poor of a season it was, and for a team of this standard, it needs to be better. With the talent that they have, with the players that they have, it should be better.
It's a star-studded lineup, but it's a star-studded lineup that isn't without its difficulties. You know, roster changes have not quite plagued this team, but they've been very present. Fresh commented that the org has been very quick to react to those roster changes as well, and the org has been very amicable in making sure that they happen. Seems like Doki's having a bit of trouble with his camera. This is very distracting there.
Doki, focus up.
Yeah, you need to be droning in, man.
Big game here.
It's not about how good you look on the little webcam. We want to see how good you're looking in the server, my friend.
No one cares about what color your hair is this week.
I think he's had white hair for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for whenever he changes it back or something, because I think that'll run its course. A bit like Keno and his hair. You know, that'll come to an end at one point. He's
Fresh has been very tame in the old hair department, hasn't he?
How's had his hair changed in at least a year?
Speaking of hair, I don't know if anyone else is doing this. Oh, maybe this is just maybe I'm going to speak my age now. But whenever Ian introduces Alfama as Mr. Worldwide, all I can think about is Pitbull and that bald head that Pitbull has.
Yeah, whenever I think of Pitbull, I think of Tim.
Well, exactly. You don't think about Alfama. Alfama's got a wonderful haircut. And it's just not fitting. If he was bald, I'd maybe accept the Mr. Worldwide. Or for those in the know, Mr. 305, which is, of course, the Florida area code.
That's it.
And he started off as Mr. 305 and then made himself Mr. Worldwide. Just a little bit of pop culture there.
Goodness. Got a Pitbull fan in the building. Well, let's get underway as we head, of course, to Bank. G2, it's a map that they are more than happy to play with. Have been great on Bank as of late. Hit or miss, really. I think it does still suit them well. I think they've got a good mind for executes. You've got a mind like Alamau there, who will be concerned about, you know, sticking to the plan, getting the plant down where he can. And this is certainly one of those maps where you do want to try and prioritize the plant more so than just flooding in for kills, because it is so big. There's a lot of different angles to check. Defense usually have quite a lot of strong little positions to sit into and can really dig your heels in. You think a janitor, for example, meeting, not the easiest of places to swing into if you're from an attacking perspective. It's G2 playing very heavily from the windows. Whenever I think of Bank, and especially this top floor, I just keep thinking about Doki whenever he naded himself on Alamau a while back. That's all I think about. And in goes the plant now, as this is a lot better from G2. This is looking very good from them. A good, well-worked execute, using the windows to their advantage, using the Osa, strong operator if she's available. My word, that is impressive.
Blinking, you missed the stuff there from G2, really just showcasing how good this team can be. And I've got a feeling that might be the order of the day. The pressure's on G2 here. This is a fixture that they should win. We often talk about Siege being played out on paper. If this game was played on paper, this team would win. This is the closest that we are going to get to that. G2, yeah, sure, they're coming up against a little bit of an unknown in Dunlimited. It isn't a team that has the most amount of footage out there available to counter, but G2's not really interested in that. Their style of Siege doesn't always play into knowing what their opponent is going to do. They play a wonderfully adaptable version where they can just make decisions and make movements based on information that they have in front of them. And it doesn't always stand to reason that they need to know exactly what a certain team is going to do when they're defending a certain site. they're just going to play to their own strengths. And we saw a great example of that. Some really good opportunistic siege being shown and a flawless round to go along with it. Both Alamau and Benja coming up with 2 kills apiece. Dunlimited forced into the site change here.
10 seconds to insertion.
Historically for Bank, it is a map which does lean into a bit more of a heavy utility dump from the defense, but of course as times change, we do see a bit more of a roaming presence. Think back to kind of, you know, the ins and outs of what this side used to be. Remember Hellraisers back in the day, Ollie? On Bank, they are real trendsetters, you know, for that roam game in towards open area. And we're going to see similar here from Dunlimited. They're going to try and hold in towards open area. What this does is obviously takes control away from G2 of having access to the hatches. Also wastes a good chunk of time. Whenever I mentioned about the utility dump that does come in for the defense, your smokes, your Goyos, even Legion to a degree these days. That is, you're really working with fine margins on the attack. You have to move quick. Uno and Alamau have just spread through into open area. We talk about the defense spread themselves sometimes do thin, and this is what happens. G2 have taken an early advantage, Ollie, with 2 minutes to go. It's going to be difficult to see them mess this one up.
Look what you've lost as well. Benja, he's going to come in and join in on the party. IWI's got an angle onto the hatch and maybe finds himself one. Does onto Uno. The diffuser is going to be in the hands of Doki, and it's all down to Rorik to try and keep hold here. Sends out a Toxic Babe canister desperately, but Benja's playing Blackbird, attacking onto Bank Basement. This isn't how things are meant to be, but it doesn't matter if you're going to come up with all the kills.
Oh, Benja on Blackbeard goes one of 2 ways. It's either just an absolute troll pick because he's been head loss, or he's just looking to make people suffer. And, I mean, they're 2-0 up. I don't think there's been any tilting right now from G2. If Benja's on form, Ollie, we know what that kid can do. You know, he's that guy. You look at him on SI, he was a big part of why they won SI, MVP. We look at teams and we always say, if this guy plays well today, the other team has no chance. And there's always been a big debate. What do you do if someone is on top of their game? They're just winning every engagement they go into. How do you stop that? What we've, you know, over our years, Ollie, the best answer that we've kind of solved is you don't stop it. You just let it happen. You can't do anything.
Sometimes you really feel like you're just a passenger in somebody else's game. And Benja's one of those players that can really make you feel that way. And there's not a great deal that you can do about it. You know, you've sometimes just got to, you know, work around somebody having a standout game. And it seems to be, if Benj is on form, which we've seen 2 full rounds, and we're at the start of round number 3. He's already 5-0. People might think it's early to start saying that it could be a Benj day, but I'd say that the statistics are stacking up quite nicely in his favor so far. Let's see how G2 approach this, and I guess more importantly, how Dunlimited approach it.
Yeah,
you know, are they going to go for that roam again and let themselves get torn limb from limb one by one, or is there going to be that element of team play and trades? Because if there's one thing that we do know, it's that the information game is going to be top-notch here on G2. Look, we've got 3 people on drone, Alamau, Virtue, and Uno, all setting themselves up. Uno just putting a flank cam there at the top of square. We've still got Alamau drone in here inside of Archives. Virtue still on drone here, all looking to provide that information to those frontline players.
I'm really shocked that there's not even just a sliver of information denial from Dunlimited. You know, Mute is up, Solus is up, Mozzie is up. Any one of those 3 would be nice if you're going for the roam game, and to see them forego that is a bit of a surprise. Now, this is always a tricky one, I feel, for the attackers, is that player on blue, that shotgun with the bust that's happened, Ollie, you will be shredded from a great distance. Doki has slipped in towards server. He's hunting to kill this smoke. Don't let him out of there. In goes the smoke grenade, but it doesn't touch Doki. Just waits for the angle. Hits him on the head. Rorik goes down, and oh, Doki, what a shot through. Eliminates Skipper. Once again for G2, Wally. They go 2-man advantage up, and there's still half the round to go.
It's just too easy. Doki in that position shouldn't be allowed to get away with anything. IWI now going to go for a little bit of a rotate. It's a great shot onto Benja. Really sits him down and tries to drag that man advantage back. The favor of Dunlimited still trailing by 1 here. We are seeing cameras have been hacked and the diffuser now can be recovered.
There's no smoke. There's
Laser
no Goyo.
Cape is going to be burnt. There isn't any denial left. We've got one C4 in the hands of IWI, but he needs to get himself into position. Hypex finds one. A second comes flying in. Nobody has dealt with the player inside a garage. It's all down to Alamau, and IWI. He's in Narnia for all intents and purposes. Removes the default camera, looking to maybe try and get a plant down now. Alamau, he's gonna have to play this perfectly. IWI now looking to come through. C4 gets sent out. A little bit of a panic C4 there, it could be said. It wasn't off the back of the most information at all. Alamau comes off at the right time. Maybe a drone, maybe the sound, but regardless, G2 3 rounds in a row.
I love the movement from Alamau in that 1 versus 1. They know that the last guy's off site. He just sprints straight in through. He's looking to get the plant down in the other objective. Of course, eventually Warden's going to get back to site at some point, but there was just that one twitch drone, that one bit of information that was able to feed through for Alamau. C4 gets tossed. The rotation, the plant on that door, using that reinforced wall, I thought was great. I would be surprised if IWI was going to be ready for someone planting right on the door frame, and as we've seen, he wasn't. He thought he was deeper in the site, more of a default position in behind the bomb chassis. I love that from Alamau. Just a little play off the beaten track, and it gets the kill secured. 3-0 for G2. I mean, it was close. I don't really know why they went for the flood, because we've seen all in our end. There's no smokes, there's no Goyos. The C4 was off site. Could have easily went for a plant.
It certainly looked like a plant was on. I don't think that anyone was really banking on the garage ramp player being as successful as they were. That was, really down to the sort of prowess of that position. And I think it kind of comes back to losing Benja quite early on as well. IWI rotated up to the top of main stairs, took Benja out. Benja was clearly playing flank watch there. And had that position vacated, he would have likely gone back to try and push into garage, because it is just such a key position to try and take control of. We often see players like Shaiko. He does a fantastic job from garage ramp. Very similar circumstances. You can pick up a lot of kills from there. And that's really where G2 suffered from. But as we saw, it just wasn't quite enough. And I think IWI really getting a little bit too carried away, maybe, with a roam at that point in the round.
10 seconds left.
Dunlimited using the timeout, see if they can recollect themselves, and right now it's just all G2.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
And G2 being able to see that it's an open area now. They can obviously adapt to their open area strat, which we haven't seen yet. I think G2 going for the Monty ban is, obviously, if you're starting an attack, is a little bit risky. I think Monty, this is probably Monty's best map is Bank. I think he is useful for every single bomb site attack. Very useful for the open area and also top floor. So I don't think it's a little bit strange to see G2 not wanting to use that. G2, I think, are a team that can certainly play the shields. We've seen Alamau play the shields before. But if they feel that maybe it's a crutch more for Dunlimited, more so than G2, and they feel comfortable that they can get these attacks on the board without the Monty, then it's going to be a good idea. But I think open area without the Monty may cause issues. Benja, don't tell me he's just going to try and face check Ollie.
Surely not. Playing on the ace as well. Tusha is ready for it and waiting. It's going to be Rorik credited with the kill. Benja first to fall. Not looking too good here for G2 as they go for a very direct approach. They've not chosen to do any vertical whatsoever. They've lost the hard breacher. Benja didn't open anything up to start with. Doki will be playing on the Brava. It's a shame as well, because there was so much value in the first few seconds of the round from the Brava and the Twitch, getting rid of a lot of that utility. We've got Virtue on the flank downstairs. He's looking to try and root out any player that could be hiding on those blue stairs, but I'm not sure if he's aware of IWI behind the server stack. It's going to be a stalemate that continues for a good portion of time. Doki coming in now on the Brava to see if he can free up Virtue in his position, see if anything can be gathered. A little bit of a red ping there. It's going to give Virtue the info, but he still has to try and take this challenge, and more importantly, he needs to win it, especially given the numbers that are dwindling elsewhere here for G2. Virtue left in a horrible dance. Eventually will pick it up, but with a minute left and 4 kills to find, this is going to be an ace clutch on the Ash if he's looking to come away with it.
Finner Gadget does get popped by him. You can see the angles being held. No surprise there for Dunlimited to close it out. I want to say just a little bit of lack of respect there from G2 side. Sure, you're winning 3-0. Sure, the first 2 rounds were very heavily in your favor. But Dunlimited aren't just going to let you walk in the bomb site. Come on. They're still a decent side. They're not just a tier 4 team that you can just walk over. It's not like that. These players won Challenger League. Don't forget that. And I know that Alfama said, yes, it's a long time ago. 8 months, is that really a long time in Siege?
I mean, not anymore with how long the breaks are, how long the off-season can be.
Mm-hmm.
Is that round on Benja's shoulders? You know, he walked in on the ace. He could have got a little bit more utility. I think you've got to start asking a question and saying, look, Benja, you're going to be playing the ace. Why are you just walking inside like that? Just play someone you can walk in with.
That was the idea. We seen a guy jump in copy window to go with him. That was the plan from G2. The plan from G2 was to have Benja and the player in copy both push in, kill the single guy inside a break room, and the other 3 are looking to hold flanks onto the players rotating back to site. But if you don't get the kills, the players off site aren't going to rotate back. Therefore, you're not going to win the round.
We got some Bruni stats on our screen here. Chance of SI qualification. You can see there, for G2 win, they're hitting a 77% chance of SI qualification, which, considering they are last year's winners, isn't really as high as you would maybe expect, given what we have left in our competitive calendar here. The teams this weekend, of course, fighting for a chance to go to Atlanta to attend the final major of the year. And the next event after that is, of course, our wonderful SI, which will be played out in February in Brazil this year, Demo.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since we've seen an SI outside of Canada. Obviously, we've had an SI in Europe before.
2.
But to go to Brazil will be it'll be something else entirely.
Yeah, haven't had an event there in about 4 years also, so it has been a while. 5 years maybe, something like that. G2, his top floor worked out for them really well last time, and Alamau just face checking up the spiral stairs. How has he found 2 of them, Ollie? 3 of them! Alamau! Oh my days! Has ripped through the entire defense. I said, you know, a little bit of lack of respect in the last round that you just can't walk in and kill them. Maybe you can, Ollie. Maybe you can do that.
It's just barefaced cheek coming out from Alamau there, and look at the crossfire on the remaining player. The plant had gone down, but G2 swarming like piranhas for that final pick. Everybody wanting a piece of the action. You can see Alamau looks pretty pleased with himself with that one.
He's very far away from his camera, isn't he?
Maybe his camera's very far away from him.
The back wall's bigger than him. It's just a corner.
It could just be a perspective thing.
Perspective. I'm surprised that like no players have put up, you know, some of those like hypno boards, the big black and white circles, and like trips you out. That would be
what, just to have behind, just so that we just get totally distracted.
Yep, that's it.
I think G2 have probably got the best cam game of the day. We get a replay of this. Fantastic first shot there, and the second. You just can't teach that kind of aggression, moving in. I mean, he's making it look like a terrorist stunt at that point. You know, he knows exactly where these players are going to be, and it's just pre-fire, pre-fire, pre-fire. This goes back into the information gathering and G2's ability to make decisions off what's presented to them. They find out a bit of info in that prep phase in the early part of the round and let somebody like Alamau loose with a powerful weapon like that DMR. And it really can be as easy as that. Certainly stunned Dunlimited there in round number 5.
This is a game where there's not so much pressure, I think, on the strat game for Dunlimited. We're not even worried about how they're setting things up and how they're getting the strats, Ollie. They're not getting kills. And that is always going to be the main focus. You know, if you get kills, sure, then we'll start analyzing what you're doing wrong in terms of the strat work and what you're doing well in the strat work. But if you're not getting kills, that's the main important thing. This game is decided on who can shoot better. We know that for a fact. And right now, it's all G2. The max kills inside of 5 rounds is 3. That is it.
Really not good enough. Not good enough at all. Benja, he hasn't really done much since round number 3, or round number 2, should I say. He went into round number 3 at 5-0.
It's my fault. I said he was going to drop
seen
kills.
the scoreboard. You did. You pointed him out. We
Done it for badness.
To be fair, it was a Benja yay or a Benja nay day, wasn't it? It was like, is it going to be a pop-off or is he going to troll a little bit later?
It was the latter.
Well, we've only seen a couple of rounds. You know, not full troll just yet.
Ooh,
But he's playing on the Twitch this time. He can't do much wrong on the Twitch, surely.
I do like that teams are incorporating more of a back presence for these basements. It's something that has really only started this year. You know, remember, it was always, okay, take server and then go for the plant. Teams are really focused more on getting kills these days. It's been a while since we really start to see, you know, the whole post-plant holding down the diffuser from the hatch in towards server. They don't happen as frequent as what they used to. And a lot of it does get now pushed in towards vault, in towards elevator. And I do like to see teams hitting that, because it just gives you more opportunity spotting. Sometimes the defense are so focused on holding off the front take, they forget that teams can drop the 2 back hatches.
Especially with how willing G2 have been to play fast and loose today. You got to expect that that's a possibility from them. Doki just trying to bait out this smoke. Rorik doing a good job of staying alive here. They have actually dropped inside of the server though, and Rorik looking to play a little bit more aggro onto this, maybe reactivate the laser gate there at the top, but he's just coming under too much trouble. He can't do it with the shotgun. He's still going to find himself one and a second. G2, what are you doing? Where's the support? Uno, he's going to make his way up there. Finally shuts him down, but damage has been done here. Equal 3-3. As Uno now looks to see if there's an option to get a breaching charge off, but it isn't clean enough. He's not going to be able to open up that wall effectively. He can, however, disable the laser gate for a time, but that just gives the game away. Alamar now has it all to do. There's bees going out. It's all very chaotic, and there's only 7 seconds left. He's got to find both kills here. There's no chance of getting the plant down. He's got to try and get these players into these 1v1s, but neither one giving themselves away. Dunlimited, they hang on by time.
So much happening in that round. So much utility. It's like watching the 10 plagues of Egypt. You have, you know, bees flying in, fire everywhere, smokes, or mayhem. And that blue stairs, a tale as old as time. Just a smoke and a shotgun does damage. G2, you expect them to clear that guy out. I think Doki missed his nade. And that was just it. Once you lose those nade, you cannot clear out that player in blue. And the only way you clear him out, Ollie, is to face check him. And that does not work out well, as Doki and Uno showed us. So G2 faltering on the blue stairs. Much better from Dunlimited. You do have to look at Dunlimited and say that we know that this is not to the standard that we know they can play to. That round, from what we've seen, is more like them. You know, ugly. Sometimes they're an ugly team to play against, where they will just grind it out.
It can be an ugly team to watch, can't it? You know, often there'll be one flashpoint of action that causes a chain reaction to everything else going on, and it can be, you know, I mean, in that instance, it was Rorik playing smoke on blue. That was the big chain reaction that forced the rest of the round, and it forced both Benja and Alamar to make a push happen elsewhere. It forced Uno to turn around and deal with the problem that, you know, the 2 other players from G2 maybe should have dealt with, or maybe should have asked for support with a little bit sooner. That really is the style of siege that we often see coming out from G2 here. They've done all right on their attacks, though. 4-2 on bank. Cannot grumble at that at all. Now they move over onto the defense. Dunlimited get to show us what they've got on these attacks. Now, again, it comes into, you know, reason, and I'm going to, you know, quote Alpha Armor a little bit here, Demo. Whilst Unlimited, you've sort of questioned the, you know, are they a new team? Are they an inexperienced team? Yes, they have won a Challenger League, but we're not expecting them to be as quick on the attacks and to make as few mistakes by being so quick. Often when you see lesser experienced teams try and go quick on the attack, some mistakes are made. So we're really going to be quite critical in these opening few and just see how they're going about that full map clear and what they're looking to try and achieve with it. So far, it looks okay.
Steady enough as it goes. G2 not looking to put up much of a fight in towards the open area. They're more than happy to play with the same utility that we've seen Dunlimited have. They're bringing in the smoke, they're bringing in the Goyo. It's pretty atypical of what we expect to see. Obviously, Kaid is on the board also, but it's good to see Dunlimited prepping for that with the addition of Thatcher. Sometimes teams forget about the old Kaid. He's popular, but not as much as what you would think. There's quite a few times where defenders don't really want to bring him, want to bring a little bit more utility than just denying a hatch. And then sometimes teams can get falsed into the a false sense of security, thinking, oh, there'll never be a Kaid, and then the one time there is, we know how many problems that can cause. So I like to see Dunlimited playing it safe, and I think for both teams today, it has been a little bit safe. I think it's been pretty standard, nothing too crazy, nothing too out there that you're thinking, my word, they're really experimenting. There's no room for that today. All it's do or die.
I think they've just got to do the basics and do them well, right? It's something we speak about very regularly. Get a good handle of the basics and perform the basics in a very exacting manner, and often you'll be rewarded with it. They are going to get choked out on time, though, which is a little bit of a concern here. Benja, he's detonated one of his Goyos just at the bottom of those elevators. Alamau is going to get baited out there. Do you see the EMP just removing that nitro cell from play? Benja's got a good angle on the drop, though. Alamau takes a little bit more damage here as so much utility get thrown in, but he's being stunned out. Hypex, he drops into a cloud of smoke. It's going to be Virtue to kick things off along with Benja, but he doesn't know which way to turn. The kills are flying here. Wow. Hypex next to fall. Virtue's picked up 3. It's all down to the Thatcher inside of open area. 13 seconds left to go. You picked the wrong way, my friend. There's someone on garage ramp waiting for you, and it's going to be Uno.
I just want to highlight the combination and the team play from Benja and Virtue. I thought that was so well done. You know that Dunlimited are committing to a back take. Okay, so smoke at that stage, you're thinking, I don't need to keep my smoke grenades. I don't need to keep them for, the kind of generic default plan. I can use them as freely as I want. Whenever Dunlimited are pushing the back, you mentioned about Benja having a great angle. As soon as that player just drops, Benja will see that player before they see Benja, so it's going to be a free kill. To combat that, Dunlimited were placing the player inside of elevator to stop Benja holding that angle. Flashbang goes in, Benja then has to move because he can't see, but a perfectly timed smoke grenade from Virtue keeps Benja alive long enough that he can get 1 kill as the player drops the hatch. Love that team play. Virtue realizing that I don't need my smokes, I can use them to help my teammate. He'll hear the call from Benja saying, I've just been flashed. Love it. Great.
Great team play there from G2. Obviously, it really helps when you get the opening pick and you've got that extra man to keep an eye on things. But as you say, nice little bit of 1-2 there between Virtue and Benja.
10 seconds left.
Unlimited needs to come up with something pretty soon because G2 are running away with this fixture. They lead by 3 rounds right now.
Are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Looking to make it a 4th here, I am sure of it. Going to be defending open, but with a heavy extension upstairs. Typically, if you see a mirror brought for this site, you would expect to see some mirror windows on the site. But no, they are going to be extending and looking to waste a little bit of time on that roam. Got both mirror windows being played upstairs. Benja hoping to all hope that he gets misdroned here. And he has been, but he misses his chance.
My
Hypex.
goodness.
Oh, he's been punished something rotten there.
Oh, we mentioned about the troll. And that could be the option for it. Just Benja things, isn't it? I suppose you can say that. But Dunlimited will be happy to get that first kill. And that does open up the map just a little bit more, being able to eliminate that roamer.
Right, this is a full side push going on. They push through beepers. They don't care. They're going to start to try and get this plant down. And G2, they've got to scurry off that top floor in order to stop it. That heavy extension could come back to hurt them. He's going to be playing the hatch. IWI already halfway with getting that diffuser down. And everybody on Adobe call as well. So even more info being exchanged over to the side of Dunlimited. Plan being confirmed, though, and time for the attackers to stabilize. Have a look at the site and see what sort of strengths and weaknesses they've got to deal with. The defenders now have to try and move through and make something happen. Virtue's going to be first in, but he gets taken out by the nade. If not, the man would have probably done it himself. Next to double. Uno, he's going to be next up, moving through beepers. They give him away, but he finds one. Can he grab the second? That's his third on the round. Oh! Falls, but Uno picks the quad. He's got time left to disable that diffuser. What a clutch. You can see by the look on Doki's face. They were not expecting that one.
Every single one of G2 just leaned back in their chairs whenever he got that kill. My word, Uno. Just the way it's set up. I mean, Alamo did, actually, I think, quite a good job there at just making sure one player was checked inside a kitchen, and the kitchen guy is going to be the main issue for Uno, because he can hold that long angle. As soon as Uno steps through that doorway, he's going to get shot. So you have to also credit Alamo. Again, good team play being shown by G2 across the board. Dunlimited. The refrags needed to be better there, albeit as soon as that Lion got killed in open area, Iana should be just looking straight towards that double door. He was more worried about Alamo. He was trying to help the Twitch. So not only did Alamo, of course, check the Twitch, which was the main one he needed to get rid of, but he also made the Iana look away also. So Alamo's done a double bait.
Alamo did a great job. I think that we saw the Iana, it's going to have been Skipperino. We saw him try and get the drone out, and I think he was just trying to give a little bit of info post-plan because he knew he was probably going to be dead there. But he was one of the last lines, if not the last line of defense, you know, really tucked away there, wasn't really exposed from any angle initially. Obviously had some tricky gunfights to deal with, but G2 happy with the retake. If it hadn't been for Uno, Dunlimited would have picked up their first round on the attack. That being said, what's the saying, Demo? If you can't win, get a fin.
That hasn't been a
7-4.
saying in a while, I'll be honest.
Well, I mean, to be fair, G2 were winning, so it doesn't really count. I just wanted to say it. But, you know, sitting on 7-4, 4 of those 7 kills coming in that previous round.
How many fins are left? Is it 3 of them? I want to say it's only 3 of them left in the EU. I think Kanto, Uno, and Jegs. If I'm not mistaken, have I forgotten someone?
There's two in this qualifier. Got Lambe and Uno.
Calorie? Yeah, they're nowhere near. Well, they're not in this bit of the bracket.
Oh no, sorry, I was on the wrong page. Yeah, on the previous qual.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the 3 of them. Yeah. No one else. So, yeah, there'll just be a lot more of them, but these are all that remains of that ancient religion.
That's all you need. You only need one. It's like the Infinity Stone. Oh dear.
That's not good.
See, this is one of the problems that you see, just utility getting blindly sent in, and Uno's going to carry on where he left off from the previous. Picks up a C4 kill. Doki will fall as well, however. He's got a bulletproof camera to occupy himself for the meantime. You look at the util that's left on the side of Dunlimited, and they've maybe not got everything that they would like to have. Skipperino going to pick up one onto Benja. Benja again quietened off somewhat. Virtue, oh, a nice chance there, but wasn't able to land the finishing blow.
It shot the gun, not the player, I think, in that scenario. And this is where maybe the Monty ban was a good one from G2. Dunlimited, I'm sure, would like to have the Monty pushing up through Spiral, calling out information for the players on the windows, but without that, you are face-checking blindly. AWI sees 2 players swing him at one time. Virtue with a rotate up. Is this a good idea? It looks to be the case, and is anyone going to know that he's actually playing this aggressive? There's yellow pings, there's information. You just seen him, Virtue. Position is going to be called out now, but nobody's on the window to punish him. Up goes the nade. Virtue dodges that one. Virtue's doing very well to stay alive, Ollie, but I think his luck's about to run out.
He's playing parkour with his life right now. Eventually gets taken out, but picks one before he goes. You've done it before. Can you do it again? It will be another quad kill, because don't forget, he kicked off with a C4, but no. Seems as though Skipperino's got a good idea as to where he is.
Sees a leg.
Shot through the soft wall there. First round here for Dunlimited on their attacks. Still leaves G2 on a match point. However, a couple more rounds. We'll see how Dunlimited fare. Maybe that was the one that they really needed to spark them up, Demo.
I would have liked to have seen a bit more utility be placed by G2, knowing that, hey, you've banned a Monty probably for that site to begin with, away from Dunlimited. So, or sorry, Dunlimited banned for... Have I been saying that G2 banned Monty? I thought it was the other way around. G2 banned Monty. I got it completely wrong. I thought G2 banned Monty away, so I remember I made a point about open air. That's completely in the bin now. No, yeah, G2 did ban Monty. Wait, am I tripping? No, I'm not. Was I right before?
I think you were right.
G2 ban Monty, yeah?
G2 ban Monty, yeah.
So I was right, okay. Yeah, so not having the Monty there, you would expect them to play a little bit more heavy in utility for holding into Elevator, for example?
Yeah, I think that G2 are looking at this and they're going, what don't we want to deal with? We don't want to deal with the Monty. We don't want them just a human drone and push on in. And the bans have been kind of nice because you've got, on the flip side of it, you've got the Dunlimited ban of the Ying, where it's like, that just screams G2, right, in the way that they were playing their attacks. So it does seem like the Monty ban is, I don't know, is it maybe slowing Dunlimited down? Were they looking to really, you know, play off the back of that? Or is it just something that G2 don't want to deal with?
Time management wasn't too bad. By the time they started pushing up Spiral, they had a minute. They had obviously a two-man advantage as well. So in terms of the actual strat of where they wanted to be, it wasn't too far off having the Monty. I think it did help that G2 kind of gave themselves up a few times, just getting picked off from windows and lobby and everything else that goes into that top floor, which, as we know, can be difficult to play around. So I would say if G2 have another go at it on the top floor, but again, we don't even know if we're going to get that far. I would say that they'll be a little bit more reserved, and obviously they can see that Dunlimited wanted to play very heavy with the nades. Speaking of nades, there's only 2 for the basement, and if we were going to be seeing, you know, maybe this blue take from these smokes that we see very frequently, only having just the 1 set of nades is going to cause issues. We've seen that happen for G2, where, oh, just barely misses out that one, where if you miss those frag grenades, clearing that smoke is nigh impossible without trading at least 2 kills for it.
Almar's had a stinker there, hasn't he? He's tried to cage trick both the hatches. The thatch has been brought, and he's fallen. Takes with it a valuable piece of utility, that being the C4. They've still got potential to deny this plant, of course. They've got Virtue on smoke to try and burn out a lot of that area and, of course, some of that time. And Benja going to be on the go with the Vulcan shields to do, or the Vulcan canisters to do exactly the same. But Benja's caught on a drone there, and there's a nade with his name all over it. Hypex going to bide his time, but isn't going to be successful. Could potentially go for a second and will. So no nades left, and IWI going to be the next player to fall. So man count all nice and level. Doki just playing in and around the tunnel there. He really seems to be having a good time in this area behind the server, whether that is on attack or on defense. But the bees, they're coming for him, Demo.
Oh, Doki's gonna get found out. The creep down the blue stairs works out well. The good news is, though, for G2, their smoke is alive with all of the gas canisters still in his pocket. Benji, it's the same position he played last time, all you remember. Dunlimited are gonna suffer the same fate, where they are looking for that backdrop. A great rotation from Benja. They thought he was inside a vault. Switches over to Elevator. Down goes Ship. Oh my goodness, Benja. The movement, the footwork, another one. They just keep feeding him. The last one to drop goes down. Virtue cleans it up. It was Virtue with 3 kills in the last round. This time it's Benja. Those 2 defending the backdrop, Solly, are untouchable.
You really need to do something about those players, especially when they are left to run rampage like that. Benja started off with a good round in round number 1, finished the game with a fantastic round, taking G2 over the line here. They're going to pick up map number 1, finished on 10 and 6. You've really got to ask the question there, Demo. Benja was on drone. Hypex was throwing those nades off the back of drone information. Now, if Benja's deleted that drone, fair play, but you've got to ask a question of the players that were on cameras on the side of Dunlimited as to just where were they looking.